Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What's the most expensive thing in the world? Some of you might say a luxury car, a mansion, or even a private jet. But let me tell you the truth. The most expensive thing in the world is ignorance. And the cheapest investment with the highest return, education. Not the kind where you just sit in a classroom waiting for a diploma to save you. I'm talking about self-education, feeding your mind daily, sharpening your skills daily, and growing yourself daily. Because if you're not growing, you're shrinking. If you're not learning, you're losing. Let me ask you a question that most people never stop to think about. What is the real price of ignorance? Too often, we think ignorance is harmless, like if we don't know, it doesn't hurt us. But the truth is, ignorance is the most expensive liability you can carry. It costs you opportunities. It costs you relationships. It costs you money. And the worst part is most people don't even realize they're paying the bill for their ignorance every single day. The most dangerous thing about not knowing is that you don't know you don't know. And because you don't know, you settle for less. You miss doors that are open, and you live below the level of your potential. Now, here's the hook. Ignorance will cost you more than education ever will. Think about it. Some people complain that books are too expensive, courses are too costly, mentorship is out of reach. But do you know what's far more costly? Trying to figure out life on your own, making mistake after mistake, wasting years of time, energy, and resources because you were too stubborn or too afraid to invest in knowledge. A book that costs $20 can save you 20 years of trial and error. A mentor that charges you a fee can help you avoid $1 million mistake. And yet, people will spend hundreds of dollars entertaining themselves, but hesitate to spend a fraction of that educating themselves. That's ignorance in action. Here's another truth most people don't like to hear. Ignorance doesn't keep you safe. It makes you vulnerable. When you don't understand how money works, you spend it instead of multiplying it. When you don't understand how people work, you get manipulated instead of influencing. When you don't understand how opportunities work, you let them pass you by instead of seizing them. Ignorance doesn't protect you, it punishes you, and the punishment is poverty, brokenness, and missed potential. But let's flip the coin. Education is priceless. And when I say education, I don't just mean formal schooling. I'm talking about intentional self-education. The books you read, the seminars you attend, the mentors you sit under, the podcasts you listen to, the rooms you get yourself into. Every piece of wisdom you gather is an asset that compounds over time. The more you learn, the more valuable you become, not just to yourself, but to the world around you. Education expands your capacity to see, to do, and to become. The wealthiest people in the world don't stop learning when they graduate. They treat education as a lifelong process. Warren Buffett still reads for hours every day. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science by reading and studying. Leaders are readers because they understand that every page holds a possibility, every idea holds an opportunity, and every new piece of knowledge could be the key that unlocks their next level. And here's the ultimate hook: ignorance keeps you bound, but education sets you free. Free from debt because you learn how to handle money. Free from fear because you learn how to face challenges. Free from limitation because you discover new possibilities. Every day you choose ignorance over education, you choose chains over freedom. But every day you choose to learn, you break another link in those chains. Here's a question most people never stop to wrestle with. Why is it that two people can work the same hours, put in the same effort, even sweat the same sweat, and yet one earns 10 times more than the other? Is it luck? Is it favoritism? No, it's knowledge. Your income will always rise to the level of your knowledge. You don't get paid by the hour. You get paid for the value you bring in that hour. And value is determined by what you know and how you apply it. Think about it. A janitor and a surgeon both have 24 hours in a day. They both work hard. But the surgeon earns more because the surgeon knows more. The marketplace doesn't reward effort, it rewards expertise. You don't get wealthy because you work harder than everyone else. You get wealthy because you know something others don't, and you know how to use that knowledge to solve bigger problems. That's why someone can spend 30 minutes on a task and get paid what another person earns in a month. It's not about time. It's about knowledge leveraged. Here's the hook: your bank account is a reflection of your knowledge account. If you want more digits in your income, you need more depth in your insight. The difference between struggling financially and thriving financially is usually just one idea, one strategy, one shift in perspective. And the person who is willing to invest in knowledge, whether through books, mentorship, or education, positions themselves to make that shift. Let me paint it this way. Imagine two farmers standing on the same land. One knows how to plant seeds, water them, and wait for nature. The other knows advanced techniques, soil science, irrigation, and crop rotation. Same land, same effort, but the second farmer produces 10 times the harvest. Why? Because his knowledge gives him leverage. Your career, your business, your income, these are your fields. And if you don't upgrade your knowledge, you'll keep producing small harvests while someone else produces abundance from the same soil. Most people live their entire lives frustrated because they think they need more money, when what they really need is more knowledge, more financial literacy to manage what they already have, more marketing knowledge to grow their business, more leadership knowledge to inspire and multiply the efforts of others. Money doesn't disappear from your life because of the lack of opportunity. It disappears because of the lack of knowledge. And here's another hook: you don't get paid for what you want. You get paid for what you know. Wanting a 6-figure income doesn't qualify you for it. Knowing how to create 6-figure value does. Wanting wealth won't change your life. Knowing how to multiply wealth will. Too many people are stuck wanting without knowing, and that's why they stay in the same cycle year after year. The most powerful investment you'll ever make is not in stocks, not in real estate, not even in a business. It's in knowledge, because knowledge is the seed that makes all those other investments flourish. If you take a person with a millionaire mindset and strip them of their money, they'll build it back. Why? Because they know how, but if you take a person with no knowledge and give them $1 million, they'll lose it. Why? Because they don't know how to keep it, grow it, or multiply it. Knowledge makes wealth inevitable. Ignorance makes poverty predictable. So when you look at your income right now, don't see it as a ceiling. See it as a mirror. It's reflecting the level of your current knowledge. The good news is mirrors can change. As you expand what you know, as you sharpen your skills, as you elevate your understanding, your reflection changes. And as your knowledge grows, your income will have no choice but to grow with it. Let me ask you something. If your body only ate junk food every day, what would happen to your health? You'd get weak, you'd get sick, and eventually your body would fail. We all know that what we put into our body determines how it functions. But here's the truth most people never stop to think about. Your mind works the exact same way. If you feed your mind junk every single day, don't be surprised when your life feels like junk. What you put in your mind today will show up in your life tomorrow. Here's the hook. Your future is being shaped by the food you feed your brain. Every podcast you listen to, every book you read, every video you watch, every conversation you entertain, it's all a meal. And your life is nothing more than the harvest of what you've been feeding your mind. You cannot binge on gossip, negativity, and distraction, then expect to produce focus, success, and prosperity. Seeds don't lie. Whatever you plant in your mind is going to grow in your life. Now think about this. The average person spends hours scrolling social media, consuming content that entertains but doesn't educate, that amuses but doesn't advance. And then they wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year. It's because they are starving their mind of the very nutrients it needs to create change. You can't build $1 million business with a minimum wage mindset. And you can't create a life of abundance on a diet of mental junk food. But when you feed your mind daily with knowledge, wisdom, and inspiration, something powerful begins to happen. Your thinking changes. And when your thinking changes, your choices change. When your choices change, your results change. It's not magic. It's the law of the mind. The Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not by wishing, not by luck, but by feeding your mind something new and powerful every day. Let me give you another hook. Your brain is like a bank account, and every piece of information is a deposit. If you keep making deposits of negativity, fear, and excuses, don't expect to withdraw confidence, creativity, and courage. But if you keep depositing wisdom, strategies, and encouragement, one day you'll be able to withdraw breakthroughs, solutions, and success. The wealthiest people in the world are wealthy because they've been making consistent deposits into their minds for years. They know that feeding the mind is not optional, it's essential. Here's the truth that separates winners from losers. Winners are intentional about what they feed their minds. Losers are casual about it. Winners guard their attention because they know attention is the gateway to transformation. Losers give their attention to anything and everything, and they wonder why their life feels scattered and unproductive. You can't control everything that happens in your life, but you can control what you feed your mind. And what you feed your mind will eventually control everything that happens in your life. Think about the farmer again. He doesn't plant weeds and expect crops. He plants seeds that will give him the harvest he wants. In the same way, your daily mental diet determines your harvest in life. If you want a harvest of wealth, feed your mind financial wisdom. If you want a harvest of influence, feed your mind leadership knowledge. If you want a harvest of peace, feed your mind faith and truth. It's that simple. Here's the truth that most people miss: money by itself doesn't make you wealthy. In fact, money without knowledge is one of the most dangerous things you can have. That's why so many lottery winners go broke in just a few years. They didn't win wealth, they only won money. And without knowledge, money slips through your hands faster than water. Knowledge is the engine that makes money grow. Knowledge is what multiplies wealth and sustains it. Here's the hook: money is not the goal. Money is the byproduct of wisdom applied. If you hand someone $10,000 who doesn't understand money, they'll spend it. If you hand that same $10,000 to someone with knowledge, they'll multiply it. The difference isn't the amount of money, it's the amount of knowledge. Wealth is never just about what you have in your bank account. It's about what you have in your mind. Because if you lose everything but still have knowledge. You can rebuild. But if you gain everything and don't have knowledge, you'll lose it all. Let's break it down. If you don't know how money works, money will control you instead of you controlling it. You'll fall for every marketing trap, every shiny object, every quick scheme. You'll spend on wants instead of investing in assets. You'll chase income instead of building wealth. And slowly but surely, that ignorance will drain your resources until you're right back where you started. That's why I always say, broke is not the problem. Staying broke because of ignorance is. Knowledge changes the game. Financial knowledge teaches you how to make your money work for you instead of you working for money. Business knowledge teaches you how to turn ideas into income. Investment knowledge teaches you how to multiply your returns and protect your wealth. Leadership knowledge teaches you how to build teams that expand your impact and your income. Knowledge is the multiplier. Without it, money shrinks. With it, money compounds. Here's another hook. Money without knowledge is like gasoline without an engine. It just evaporates. But money with knowledge is like fuel in a powerful machine. It takes you places you never dreamed of. That's why wealthy people focus less on chasing dollars and more on chasing wisdom. Because when wisdom arrives, money follows. When wisdom grows, money multiplies. Now, let's be real. Some people pray for financial breakthrough, but they never pursue financial knowledge. They want God to bless their bank account, but they don't take the time to learn how money operates in the marketplace. And here's the truth: God can put resources in your hand, but if you don't have the knowledge to manage it, you'll lose it. The Bible says, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. That's not just spiritual wisdom. That includes financial wisdom, business wisdom, and life wisdom. Because without it, money becomes a curse instead of a blessing. Think about wealthy families who pass on their riches for generations. It's not the money that keeps the wealth alive. It's the knowledge they pass down with it. They teach principles, strategies, and disciplines. That's why their wealth doesn't evaporate. On the flip side, think about families that come into money but don't have the knowledge to handle it. The money disappears, and so does the opportunity. Let me ask you this: how many blessings have you already walked past without recognizing them? Most people are waiting for some magical breakthrough, a miracle that will change everything in an instant. But what if I told you the miracle has already been delivered and it's wrapped in wisdom? God has already given you the keys. He has already provided the knowledge. He has already placed the opportunities. The real question is, are you picking them up? Here's the hook: wisdom doesn't chase you down. You have to go seek it out. Books are blessings. Mentors are blessings. Learning opportunities are blessings. But blessings don't work if you leave them on the shelf. A book that could change your mindset does nothing if it collects dust. A mentor with the answers to your struggles can't help you if you never ask questions. A course designed to elevate you means nothing if you never press play. God provides the provision, but you must provide the participation. The Bible says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally. That means wisdom is available. It's not scarce. It's not hidden away from you. It's hidden for you. And too many people are praying for answers that God has already placed in plain sight. You're asking for financial breakthrough, but the book on money management has been sitting in your Amazon cart for weeks. You're asking for business success, but the mentor who already walked the path is waiting for you to invest in their program. You're asking for direction, but the wisdom is already written, recorded, and spoken. You just haven't picked it up yet. Here's another hook. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not distance, it's wisdom. Wisdom bridges the gap. Every level of success you desire is already mapped out, but the instructions are written in the wisdom you refuse to consume. And the truth is, you don't need another miracle. You need more applied wisdom. Think about it. When Solomon asked God for wisdom, he didn't just get knowledge. He got everything that comes with wisdom, prosperity, influence, legacy. God didn't give him gold first. He gave him wisdom first because wisdom creates gold. The same principle applies to you. God won't always hand you the result. He'll hand you the resource, and it's your job to use it. Most people miss their blessing because they expect it to look dramatic. They expect lightning in the sky, voices from heaven, or instant millions in the bank. But wisdom usually shows up quietly in a book you could read, in a conversation you could have, in a course you could study. The question is, do you have the humility to learn and the discipline to apply? Here's the truth that separates winners from dreamers. Winners treat wisdom like treasure and pursue it daily. Dreamers treat wisdom like an option and ignore it until crisis forces them to pay attention. Winners know that when God gives you access to knowledge, he's giving you access to freedom. Dreamers keep waiting for something external to fix what's internal. But God already answered the prayer. He already provided the map. Now it's up to you to take the steps. And here's one more hook. Your blessing is only as powerful as your willingness to act on it. A seed doesn't become a harvest until it's planted. Wisdom doesn't become transformation until it's applied. You can pray for change, but until you pick up the wisdom God has already put in front of you, nothing changes.